Welcome to the Practical Entrepreneur Show. This is episode 24 with Gisel Martin. Gisel is a business strategist from the Bay Area who shares her thoughts on women empowerment, the fourth industrial revolution, and of course her favorite foods to eat. Please make sure to write a review, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And remember, winter is coming.
So how long have you been in business?
I officially launched my business strategist website September 2017.
Okay.
So like a year and a half, I guess.
Cool. Yeah. How long were you, doing this?
I'm doing it like as a side hustle still.
Oh, okay. And what experience kind of gave you the confidence to be able to just start that? Like, were you doing it for businesses and at work already?
The summer before I joined this, it's like a women's, like a women's group. I think it was called like Find Your True Purpose. I don't know, something like that. So I joined this women's group and we met once a week, and it was with a therapist who's also does like hypnotherapy and sound healing, and she just does like a lot of natural things like meditation and things like that. She's also like she's a personal coach.
Got it.
And so through that work, it was 3 months through that work, I really found that I already knew I was unhappy with my current day job. But I found out I have these skills that not everybody has. And to me, I thought, oh, okay, I have these thoughts, so everybody must think in this logical, common sense way that I do. But
it's not true.
I realized that it's not true. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would happen.
So I am a business strategist. That is currently my side hustle. I do it whenever I can. So about me, I have 3 kids. I'm married. I've been married for 12 years. And we live in the San Francisco Bay Area, specifically on the peninsula, which is where the San Francisco airport is. I have a day job in downtown San Francisco, and I've been working on this business strategy business since September of 2017. And my mission and purpose of doing that is so that way I can provide accessibility and resources to the Latino, Latina, Latinx community who otherwise doesn't have access to business knowledge or business tools.
Got it. Now, one thing I hear consistently throughout your podcast and through your website is that you say people end up doing business with companies that they can connect with or relate with. Where did you find that, information, or how did you come up with that?
I am a really great observer and listener. That's why I ask lots of questions, because I just love to learn. And so I think growing up, coming from an entrepreneurial family, and also being Latina, being Mexican American, we are a culture of entrepreneurship. Everybody has a tío that sells tacos, and a tía that sells tamales, and a prima that sells jewelry and things like that. And when I was younger, I would just think, well, we have stores for these things, but our family members, we look for each other, and not just family members, friends. We look for each other because we want to support each other. And it's that connection of community, that connection of like, oh, this person makes this, or this person makes pasteles for quinceañeras and things like that. And it's through the connection of culture and community that that's really where it comes from.
Got it. Now, I remember, I'm not going to say remember, but at least with some of my friends and friends from college, I noticed a lot of times Latinos can be very envious, where they're kind of like, well, I want to get there first. Like, and then you can come to me once I get there. And there wasn't a lot of support for business I guess, businesses when they were, you know, or Latino businesses didn't support each other. They kind of were like competing against each other, even though they're in different industries. So, at least now, now that I'm in business, I always want to support my fellow Latino business owner. Do you feel that that has always been, or is there has been a shift as far as our mindset?
I think that this newer generation definitely sees the advantage in collaboration and sees the advantage in creating a community of entrepreneurships. But I also think that the people who still are envious of each other, the business owners who still go, because I still see that too, the business owners who go and don't say nice things about other business owners, are they really successful though? How long are their businesses really lasting if they're focusing on the negative aspects?
Got it.
Yeah.
Makes
I really
sense.
believe that positivity is the source of success.
As far as some of the businesses that you've worked with, what are some of the common mistakes that you see, I guess, young businesses do?
People don't follow their passion. I know it's very cliche to say, oh, follow your heart or, listen to your true life's purpose, but it works. Business owners, I talk to business owners in two different capacities. I talk to them as a business strategist. People come to me and we have strategy sessions. I offer 1 hour free strategy session to everyone. So I've talked to people only 1 hour. And in 1 hour, we can talk about a lot. I also talk to clients who pay for strategy sessions. And I also talk to small business owners who I talk to through my podcast recordings. And all of them say, I wish I would have done this sooner. I knew that this was a passion of mine. I wish I would have started sooner. Or once I decided to let go of my fear and just take the leap of my business, my passion, then it turned into a business. Or I've had two people tell me, oh, I consulted one of those small business association or those free government or county agency advice centers. And those two women told me, and they were in completely different locations, one in Southern California, one in Northern California. And they both said, I'm glad I didn't listen to that person who told me that my idea was not a good, it wasn't going to be a good, efficient business decision because I wasn't going to make a lot of money. And now one of those women actually got an offer and is in negotiations with an online retailer to sell her products. Just because I helped her for 1 hour in a free strategy session.
Nice.
I didn't do all the work. I helped her set up her strategy to go that way.
Got
and
it.
The other woman, she has 2 other partners and they're starting a juice business. So seriously, people, follow your heart. Do what's passionate. Because, we were talking a little bit earlier offline and we were saying that the repetition gets kind of boring. Repetition can drive you insane, but it also can keep you in your comfort zone. But as long as you're following your heart and it's actually making you happy, it doesn't matter if you're doing it over and over and over again. That won't drive you insane.
It doesn't. And one of the things that I've learned is I've always had a passion to help people. I just didn't know what it was going to be in. And once I aligned, I guess, with my passion to help people with an actual skill that I had, it's just game changing. Because
Yes.
I have an unbelievable work ethic. Don't get me wrong, I could take a day off and just like do absolutely nothing. But I just got back from Mexico. I mean, I landed at 11:30 at night. I didn't get home until about 1. And I was, one, excited to do this. But the entire time I was in Mexico, I was just like, like, I don't know what it is. When you travel and you leave the country, you're like free of like just creativity is just bananas. So, I mean, that's all I was thinking about. I was just like, oh, what if I do this? What if I do this for customers? What if I do that for customers? Oh, okay, what if I do this? You know, like it's just my brain was just like,
Yeah, free flowing.
Yeah.
Because your brain is not waiting for the next task.
yeah. So it was and I was just like, I love what I do. Like I was just like, I was telling my fiance because we went to Mexico to go look for wedding venues. And
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. So yeah, so she was like, well, you're not really no help. I'm like, look, I'm good at one thing. Providing. I can do that. So, whatever it is that you want for the wedding, just
That's a very important part.
like you pick it. I will work and make money to pay for it. I go, that's what I can, that's my strength. I'm not gonna try to pick drapes and silverware and tables and lights and decor over my head.
Yeah.
I want none of that.
Definitely focus on what you're good at.
Yes.
For sure.
So I mean, I love what I do, and it's never, it never gets old. You know, it never gets old. But your passion has to align with the skill. Like if you're passionate, because I can also be passionate about eating tacos.
Actually, yesterday I met a food blogger, and his Instagram handle is dude where's my tacos, and he goes around taking pictures, and he's very successful at it. So
wow.
He did pair though the skill of taking pictures and blogging about it, and
okay. So yeah, I think there has to be a skill.
Right
You just gotta be a skill.
Some balance, yeah.
Because I mean, I love tacos. I mean, but I mean, could I make a living off of that? I don't know. One guy did, but you know, he also had a skill of taking pictures and writing. So I'm sure he's a good writer. I'm not a good writer. I'm really bad at grammar. I have a ton of spelling errors. I mean, but one thing I'm really good at though is I could be in front of a camera. But I
mean, that's why technology is great, because now we have all these different outlets. Yeah.
True. Now, let's get a little off topic, a little off business. I know you like to ask these questions for your podcast as far as what your favorite food is.
Yeah.
And like, you know, what's your favorite color? I'm going to ask you a kind of a random question, but I know you'll be able to relate with. What is your best childhood memory?
My best childhood memory is getting in our van. We had maroon 8-seater safari van. Oh, wow. And do you remember?
Yes. Those are the Astros, right? They're kind of like the Astro, like box. Yeah, I know.
And packing it full of blankets, pillows. We would put on our pajamas, and my parents would go and buy like chocolate mousse cake or cheesecake or whatever and popcorn, and we would go to the drive-in at nighttime, and we would just watch movies as a family there in the drive-in, eating, hanging out. It's like I haven't been able to do that with my kids. There's no drive-ins around here.
I think it's probably because it's the Bay Area. It's a little colder.
Yeah, they were all tore down. Yeah.
There's a handful over here in LA. I know we went to a couple drive-in movies maybe about 3-4 years ago. I think my fiance found them on Groupon, but I don't know if they exist anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen any around here, and yeah. But yeah, that's one of my favorites.
So I know you like conchas. Which one is your favorite?
Oh no, my favorite is the concha cookie by Posric. It's not even a concha; it's a concha cookie.
I heard that podcast.
Yeah, she seriously was like, had divine feminine energy, and the grace of God touched her when she created that, because it was like so good.
Nice. I've never had the concha cookie. I'm in Southern California, but I've heard that she's come down here a couple times. But I know Molcajete Dominguero is doing events now up in the Bay Area. I think they just had one, maybe like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Yes,
and they're going to have one in 2 weeks from now too.
Okay, I gotta crash one of those events because
Yes, you should.
That cookie sounds really good.
Yeah, you can order them. Actually, they'll get delivered to you.
Oh, that's right. And I think
on Etsy.
Yeah, it's something I remember that it was like order a couple days in advance and they get there. I want to eat one fresh though.
It's worth it.
Nice. So back to business.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I know a lot of people like to make it seem like every business, you can have a cookie cutter system for every business, but from your experience, is there a different approach for different businesses?
Yeah, definitely. There is no cookie cutter approach at all. I mean, obviously everybody needs a purpose, a mission statement, a marketing strategy and things like that, but it's all handled differently. And the way I approach it is I ask the business owners, how can you fit this business you're trying to create or the business that you're trying to grow? How can you fit it into your current lifestyle? Because it's really difficult to completely change your life from one day to the next to focus on a business. And I know people do that, but when you have a family and a full-time job, you can't do that. You still have to take care of your family. And especially if you're Mexican American like myself, or Latina, or Latino, Latinx, you also have an extended family. You have abuelos, abuelas, and tias and tios, and 5 million cousins, and everybody has kids, and you have, birthdays and quinceañeras and weddings to go to, and you can't just stop going to those either. It's also part of supporting your family too, and finding support from your family. So that's definitely one thing that I talk to people about, is like, okay, this is your goal, but how can you fit this goal into your current lifestyle? Like, what can you move around? Start off with minor changes, minor adjustments, and then move to bigger adjustments until you hit your goal.
Got it.
It's realistic.
It's very practical. So practicality is always overlooked, and it's very like, what is it? Doing what you need to do when you need to do it is so simple, but we make it so complicated.
I mean, one thing that I find that is very difficult is, with the power of technology and social media, we have so many, I just became a millionaire, or this, or like, all I do is YouTube videos all day and now I'm a millionaire. I'm like, but they didn't just start off doing that. You can't go one day to the next doing that. They started little by little. But a lot of people don't show that. And there are some people on Instagram now that I follow that are small business owners, and they keep it real. And that's how people make a connection with their clients or potential clients. Keeping it real and saying, you know what? I did not feel like making cupcakes yesterday, so I didn't. And today I decided to make the double amount to make up for it. Because you're a real human. We're real
Yeah,
humans.
right? We have days like, I don't want to do anything today.
And it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think and let me get your take on this. And from just kind of getting a little sense of you from your podcast and your blogs, you seem very shy when you come to being, like, when you do your podcast and if you get in front of a camera. But you seem very confident when it comes to, like, what you know. And there's a lot of people like that. And what I don't like about social media is like, oh, well, you don't only have that many followers. I'm like, and I had this conversation with my fiance's cousin a long time ago. I want to say this was like 2014. I had just gone to Instagram. I wasn't even in business yet. It's like, oh, how many followers do you have? I'm like, I don't know, like 250. She's like, I have 1,000. And I'm like, and I just kind of step back. I'm like, was your credit score over 800? Like, do you have money in the bank? I'm like, do you have health insurance? And like, like, there's so many people that are really capable and have a lot of skill, but because their Instagram following doesn't show that, people don't give you the credibility. And now I'm old enough to be like, an Instagram following says nothing about a person. It's about their skill and what value they bring to you as an individual. So, what do you talk when you're talking to business owners and they want to do social media? Do they ever get intimidated of starting off at zero and they want to have like 1,000 followers, or are they okay with it not having 1,000 followers or thousands of followers? I should say.
The conversation with owners about social media and Instagram is more that they're also very shy to get in front of the camera too. And I can relate, so I can help them a little bit. I challenge them to start opening up as I'm challenging myself. And the biggest advice I could actually give about that is don't just look at your followers. If you're focusing on your followers, then you're really not focusing on what you're getting out of it. It's really important to go to the insights of Instagram and look at who is following you, and their engagement and their reach, and are they commenting, are they liking, and also what action do you want to get from your followers? Because you have followers, and then you have your engaged followers, which is always a smaller group of people. And as long as you get your engaged followers to actually do some sort of action whenever you post something, that's what matters.
That is very practical advice. I'm actually going to start applying that. I mean, I've it's always been in the back of my mind, but you just literally explained it to me. Like, it's like when the book Think and Grow. Have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich?
No.
Oh, read Think and Grow Rich. How about The Richest Man in Babylon?
No.
Oh, these are fundamental. So
I will read them.
Richest Man in Babylon. So Think and Grow Rich talks about, this is old. This is from the 1920s. This guy named Napoleon Hill interviewed guys, Woolworth, Gillette, Wrigley. I mean, some of the stuff that are just mega brands today. And it talked about assertiveness, just attracting wealth and things like that. And when I saw that, have you seen The Secret?
Yes.
Okay, so Think and Grow Rich, I read it twice because it was hard to understand a little bit the first time, so I read it again. And then I saw The Secret, and then it was like, boom, I finally understood it.
Got it.
So I kind of, that's what you just did right now for Instagram. Like, I kind of understood it, but then you're just like, oh, engaged followers and followers are two different things. And I'm just like, oh. So, mind blown.
Yay, I'm glad I could give you a mind blowing.
So, I've been making videos. I started making videos on YouTube in 2007 and 8, and I was always very comfortable in front of a camera. Now that, I'm doing with business, my video has been really good. I've been getting a lot of engagement with that. When someone's starting off, or let's say for yourself, right? What do you force yourself, like when you want to get out of your comfort zone, what are some of the steps that you kind of tell yourself to kind of prepare yourself to get out of your comfort zone?
This is something that I tell a lot of people. Look at pages, businesses, profiles of people that you aspire to, people you look up to. What are they doing? What do you like about what they're doing? What don't you like? And then try to make it my own. So that's one thing, is I start formulating the ideas, be like, okay, I like what she's doing. That and I like it because it made a connection with me. So that's something that I'm all about, is how can I connect with the people who are following me? So I think, okay, if I want to make a video about posting a new podcast episode, am I just going to post the print or am I going to talk about it? And I've noticed that when I get on and it's just 10 seconds of me saying, hey, I posted a new episode. It's about this and this and this. Go check it out. I get a bigger response than if I just post a picture of the episode and put, go listen.
Got it.
So that's one of the reasons why I say it's important for us to be relatable, because I see that I relate to the Instagram stories or the posts where people are actually putting themselves out there. It inspires me to put myself out there. So I do take a lot of little videos and then I delete them and then I choose the best one. But it's still uncomfortable. Like right now we're doing this on video chat. I am very uncomfortable, but I'm okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You have a nice backdrop. I have a burro, and I have my fiance's like makeup. This is her like top of hair, and it's like all her makeup and stuff like that.
That's what's making me very comfortable.
Right?
The business. That's one of the most powerful things that we can do as human beings is acceptance. Accepting ourselves, accepting our situation, and accepting of others. Something that I've learned recently in the past few years that I've been practicing, and it's made my life a lot better in a lot of ways. And there are still some things that I'm working on accepting in my life, like the debt, like living in debt with a family and children, and transitioning from a full-time day job to making a living on my own. That's one of the things that I'm currently struggling with. Oops, okay.
Right.
That's one of the things that I'm currently struggling with accepting. But it's like a work in progress. And one of the things that I think that our community, our Latino, Latina, Latinx community doesn't talk about enough is money. And just like you, I've had many moments in my life where I was like, oh, my parents didn't teach me about money, so this sucks. Now here I am in a home with 3 kids and I'm still struggling. But like you said, it's about accepting the situation and taking it for what it is in the moment and then moving forward. I could, you could have chosen to live in that idea that it was your parents' fault, but you didn't. And as a business owner, there definitely needs to be some sort of mindset shift from moving from before owning a business to owning a business. And a lot of business owners don't realize that sometimes the mindset shift happens beforehand, and then that's why they take a leap. Sometimes they start their business and then it's happening as they're doing their business. And unfortunately, the businesses that don't succeed, I think a big part has to do because the business owners didn't have a mindset shift to accept the current reality of their new business owner lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a whole lot different. Because it was a business owner, it goes through waves. Like you'll have months where you're just like killing it. And then you go through a couple months where just like nothing happens. And then it cranks back up again. And if you don't have your mind right and then your money right, it's super stressful. You have to know, people have to live below their means. Like we need to stop buying stuff that, that we don't need. You buy stuff that you need, not what you want. And if your friend especially with family, family's the worst sometimes. They're like, ay, que no fuiste a colegio? ¿Y por qué estás así? Like, it's like, it is what it is. But if you can tune that out.
Sometimes I get the other side of it is like, oh, I thought you went to college. How come you're still in this job right here? How come you're not making a lot more money than,
Oh, no, that's, yeah.
It doesn't matter what you are, where you are in your life. There's always going to be people in our family or in our community that are going to say, oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were going to do this. Why aren't you doing that?
It's just people now. If people can
Yeah.
tune that out, it doesn't even phase you.
Owning a business is definitely about lifestyle because you get to do what you love. You make a living on your own. Sometimes there are some businesses that you don't have flexible time. Just it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. But you know what? You were talking about how that there's a lot of people that are like more and more people are working independently or becoming entrepreneurs. So my day job is actually I work for San Francisco State University.
Okay.
And I review all of the third-party contracts that come in to my college, and these third-party agencies pay for students to take classes with us.
Okay.
And I've gone for the past few years to the California Workforce Association conferences, and I've learned about our current workforce in California and in the US. We're currently undergoing the fourth industrial revolution. And it is about independent workers and entrepreneurship. That's one. And it's also about automation and artificial intelligence. All of this combined makes right now our current fourth industrial revolution. So like 100 years ago or over 100 years ago was like the first one.
Yeah.
Where they did it was like agricultural, and then it was like the big farming stuff where they automated farming stuff. Then the second industrial revolution was factories and manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I actually have a master's in education, so I also studied the education system, and our current education system was created to feed into the manufacturing and warehousing business.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you.
It does.
Our third industrial revolution was about 30 years ago when the internet was invented, and our current fourth industrial revolution is artificial intelligence, automation, and this huge insurge of this huge independent workers and entrepreneurs. And there are now even government agencies that are paying for people to get training on how to be a freelancer, how to be an independent worker. Because even huge companies like Apple, they hire contractors to clean their offices instead of actually having janitorial employees.
Oh, wow.
Janitorial employees don't receive the same Apple benefits that the employees do. So talk about disparity gap. A janitor can't buy Apple stock or be part of the Apple share as other Apple employees. What message is that sending?
Yeah.
So it's really, really interesting, and because of my day job too, that's another reason why I decided okay, I see this huge rise of women of color business owners, especially Black women and Latinas. And I think that has a big, one of the biggest reasons is because Latinas and Black women are the ones who are getting paid least amount of money in any job, corporate America. If you look for every $1 that a white man gets paid, a Latina woman gets paid 54 cents. We are the lowest paid. And if you look at that compared to the rising number of Latina business owners and entrepreneurs, I think that is a huge correlation. We don't want to get paid 54 cents to $1. I want to make my own dollar.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I'm trying to show my kids. And that's what I'm trying to help other women do too. And also men too. I help everyone. But that's why I focus on Latina women of color business owners, because we're the ones that have the least amount of time to learn about business, and we have the most to lose because we have families.
Yeah. Wow, that's a crazy stat. ABC.
I think that actually emails and websites and the actual internet is actually going to be obsolete. I think we're moving to platforms. We're moving to apps and platforms, which we can see. I mean, I do live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I do live in Silicon Valley, so I see it. It's more in my face every single day. So I do think that here technology moves faster for us here than probably in the rest of the world. But I mean, if where I live right now today is a testament of what's going to happen in the future, then yeah, that's what I think.
Got it. Now, you still work full time, and you're doing this as your side hustle. Whenever you get a free moment to relax, what is your choice of relaxation?
I meditate. I do yoga. I love this YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrienne.
Okay.
She has yoga videos anywhere from 8 minutes to an hour. So whenever I feel like it. I also love this other yoga, this yoga channel on YouTube called, I think it's called Cosmic Kids. And we do yoga together as a family. They're about 20 minutes long. And it's a woman with like, I think she records, with a green screen or something. And she has a background and she tells stories. Like one of them was like Pablo the penguin. And she told a story about Pablo, the penguin doing whatever. And she's like, oh, and then he went in a helicopter and we're doing like this yoga move that is like a helicopter. So I definitely love that. And meditation, I love it. It actually has really transformed my life.
Meditation is pretty
meditation and yoga, something that I've been doing a lot lately is journaling and writing, because I'm going through like a healing, transformative state right now. So there are like deep issues that have come up in my meditation. I've been doing some specific guided meditations that have brought up some issues, and that actually has really, really helped me just write it down.
I haven't heard it consistently, but I think it's the Latinx therapy
I've
podcast.
heard of it, yes, and I follow them. Yes, I do.
I know in the Latino culture that is a big stigma. I'm glad I broke out of it, and I had to thank one of my fraternity brothers who, this was years ago. He talked about therapy, and I was like, "Hey, we all need it. Because it doesn't matter what your situation is. Like you got to be bigger than the whole. Like, well, I'm not crazy or anything. I'm like, no. I'm a total believer of like mental therapy. I actually went to it. Well, I haven't been able to go to a consistent like therapist. But what I did was, I did group therapy at Kaiser, and oh wow, it was, yeah, what I liked about it the best, and as far as the group setting, it doesn't matter your color, your income, your age, your like male or female, we all have the same problems. We all got something. Like you may think, oh, that person, I'm like, no,
that's
they're
because
going through
all these
something.
other things that you mentioned are all socially constructed. So that's what makes it difficult, is these socially constructed barriers that prevent us from truly connecting with each other.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that a lot more, I guess, people go through therapy. I think therapy should be implemented in the public education system, so that way kids can, learn how to deal with bullying and why bullies exist, because bullies exist even in the adult world.
Oh yeah,
It's
everywhere. Yeah.
what it is. And I sometimes can be the bully, but I usually defend people who are being bullied, because it's not, I remember boys are just dumb. Like I was one of those like just dumb kids who just do dumb things just for giggles, right? And I had a younger sister, and I remember when she was getting older, I was just like, Josie, like make sure like you're always take care of like your health and your weight, because boys are really mean. They say mean things. He's like, oh no, it's okay. And I always felt like, no, like I just, they're gonna bully you. Like, I don't want you to be bullied because I've seen it. So I've always done my best to be, I guess, the shield, because I can deal with it. People can make fun of me. I've been called everything. People don't even think I'm Mexican. When 9/11 happened, everyone, would say things to me. It is what it is. It's part of life. But if people can learn how to deal with that at a very young age, I think we would have less bullying. And the bullies wouldn't know what to do, because they're being, kids are being taught how to deal with them. And then if the bullies do exist, the people who are being bullied will be like, well, they're probably just upset at themselves, or something's not going right with them at home, or whatever. And if the kids aren't taught that, then we have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it definitely has a lot to do with the home environment, the home experience, and also the school experience. Because my kids went to a preschool where it was a cooperative preschool, and there was one adult to every 5 children. And that's because as a cooperative, all of the parents, all of the families had to go to the school once a week to be there. So not only was my child, or all my children, not only were they learning about social skills, but I, as a parent, was learning about parenting social skills. I was also learning how to be a better parent, and I was learning the same social skills. So that way, the phrases and the messages that they were teaching them in school, I would bring them home, and we would reinforce them here at home too. And so the things that I still tell my kids, even though they're not in preschool, or these are things that even I use with college students sometimes, is listening ears. We need listening ears, because we need to listen to each other. We also need to use our words. Instead of hitting or biting or yelling, use our words. And that's how to express ourselves emotionally, and be aware of the kids would have circle time, and they would be like, show us an angry face, show us a happy face, show us a sad face, show us like, and then the kids would be like, and then they'd be like, well, what other emotions are there? And one time this kid said disappointed, and I'm like, what? How do 4-year-olds know what disappointed emotion is? I'm like, but I mean, the fact that they're taking up time and space to sit down and talk about the different emotions that we can have, and it's okay for us to feel them. And not only okay for us to feel them, it's important for us to express them. What kind of generation are we actually creating? Like a very communicative, compassionate generation.
Yeah, we need a lot more of that.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot more of that. Sure. So we can just understand.
And that has to do with, the school system. Preschools are not free. If these types of preschools were free to everyone, then everybody would be on the same level playing field.
Yeah.
Or closer to a level playing field. But
we'll get there. What are your thoughts on travel? Do you think traveling helps business owner become more creative, or is it more of an expense?
I mean, it depends on what you're using it for. It helped you. If it helps you, then it helps. Other people use travel to go actually import items to sell. So yeah, that definitely helps those types of businesses. Like I said, there's no, like you said and I said, there's no cookie cutter way.
I know, right? Yeah. I know, at least traveling, what it's done for me, I know it opens up your eyes to different cultures and different lifestyles. It doesn't leave us stuck in this American bubble. It's very interesting to hear the perspective of America through a foreigner. It's the best. Mm-hmm. I would take the Metrolink train from Glendale, California to Chatsworth, California when I used to work at Anthem Blue Cross right before I got laid off. And there was an Indian guy that would get off, I think, in Burbank or no, in Chatsworth also. And what he would tell me, he's like, you Americans are funny. He goes, you guys say you guys are the world champions when you win the Super Bowl, or you're the world champion for baseball, like the World Series.
I say that all the time too.
And he's just like, you guys didn't play any other country. You guys played another American city. So I just started laughing. I'm like, this guy makes a point, right? Because I mean, the world champion NBA, the Golden State Warriors, like, you guys didn't beat it. Yes, I understand that. The NBA is the mecca. Like, if you're a basketball player and you want to be known, you have to be playing in the NBA. Like, that's it. There's no other place that, these are the best of the best all around the world. I get that. But you didn't, the Golden State Warriors didn't beat Argentina. They didn't beat Brazil. So when I heard that, I just started cracking up. And I thought, and it's always good to hear that because, there's a different way of living. And that helps us. I think all my travels have helped me through business because it gives me a chance to be empathetic because we are like, oh, well, I'm like, we should just, I'm like, no, like, let's just step back a little bit. You're being a little aggressive right now. You're trying to, I know what your goal is, but you have to understand the customer's perspective. They may not need your product or service. So kind of scale back a little bit. You don't have to be so, demanding. And if you're able to have that empathetic kind of soft skill, it's really helpful in business. Because yes, we have the business owners have to be assertive and have confidence, but at the same time, we have to be empathetic. Not everyone's gonna want to buy your product. Someone may tell you your concha cookie sucks.
And that's okay.
And yep, and like, well, it's just not for you. Because I remember that podcast episode she was going to, I guess, not Latino heavy events.
Yeah,
so,
like regular pop-up events. Yeah.
And she was like, oh, what's this? Of course, if someone who doesn't know what a concha is, and they see a concha cookie, they're just going to be like, well, that looks kind of weird. But for me, I'm like, whoa, a concha cookie? Like, my mind blown. Right? So if you go to an event with a whole bunch of people like myself, then of course that makes sense.
So yesterday I went to another event, Mercado Latinx in Stockton.
Oh, okay.
And I took my podcast equipment and I interviewed a lot of business owners. A few of them, without me even asking them, a few of them said, this is my first time at this Mercado type of event as a vendor, they say, and all the other events that I've gone to that are not centered on Latino vendors or Latino vendors, it's different because the vendors are actually welcoming. When they see each other setting up their stations, they're like, hey, do you need help? Can I help you? I'm done with my station. And then one woman said, she said this was her first time at these events. She's like, I saw other vendors hugging each other and talking to each other. Like, if this is just like one big family party, she's like, I've never seen that at any vendor event ever in my life. And she's like, this is my first time vending an event like this. And these are the types of events I want to be at because this is where I feel the best and the most comfortable and things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. And I can see that, like, if someone like a Latino vendor would go to like a local farmers market in their city, there's so many different types of vendors there, different products, different services, different backgrounds. And like we were talking about before, how I was talking about therapy. I don't know what social something. I was like, where all these, like, it doesn't matter your color, race.
Socially constructed.
Socially constructed. That's, I'm going to write that down. Socially constructed. They're like, oh, like, well, if I say hi to them, are they going to say hi to me? I'm like, am I going to be rejected? Like, it's so, yeah, those barriers. those invisible
Those
barriers.
are cultural barriers for sure. Because, I mean, as a Mexican American, I grew up. Wherever you walk in, to whatever room, to whatever event, you always go around and you say hi to everybody. Because that's what you do.
Yeah, that's,
And it's
I
the same
know.
thing. Like, yeah, as a business owner, you go to a vending event. I would say do the same thing. Say hello and acknowledge people, but there's some cultures just don't do that.
Very true. So let me end this podcast with the last question. You ready?
Yes.
If you were given a choice to pick between a taco, a quesadilla, for a main course, for an appetizer, what would it be? And then, hold on, I'm gonna throw in dessert. Homemade flan, freshly made churro, or I'll even throw in this one, the famous concha cookie. I know, like that's a. I was like,
Okay.
oh.
So the option all of the above. Yeah.
I'm picking someone and we're splitting it, right?
No, I'm definitely the type of person because this is how my mom raised us is you order 5 things and everybody shares it. You get 1 spoonful each.
I know.
Because you get to taste everything. Why limit yourself to just one?
Goodness. To tell me about it. Well, so we're shopping for wedding venues, and we met up with 2 vendors for food, and they would bring us, there's 4 of us, and we all were like, spoonful, pass plate, spoonful, pass plate. Like, we tried everything. I'm just like, we're not going to limit ourselves for, So, I know.
Yeah, so my final answer would be a quesadilla with carne asada inside. And flan with a concha cookie on the side and a churro stuck on it. So
major life hack. Good stuff. Well, I'm glad that we had a chance to conversate. Whenever I'm in the Bay Area, I'm definitely going to reach out to you.